Hey guys, what is up? It is Castle Hominid here, and yeah, today we're gonna be using the Electrosphere launcher, which again, is one of the weapons I haven't really used. I don't really use the Martian weapons too much because it is one of the hardest um events in the game, in my opinion, and I died a bunch. So the Electrosphere launcher actually travels at a decently fast speed, and once it hits something, it'll stop and create a pulse, which, as you can see over there, lasts around, I want to say, 10 to 20 seconds. And then it'll actually go away and it'll deal a lot of damage. So if you are fighting enemies like the Golem that don't really move that much other than when they jump, this is definitely a weapon for you. And one good thing about this weapon is that despite the fact that it cannot go through walls, through weapons, it actually can go through a 2-block space, which I was surprised about because the projectile that it fires is pretty wide. But when it comes to a group, it'll only hit 2 enemies if they are lined up in single file, not inside of each other. Which is why, if I'm ever doing a boss battle or a invasion, I'll just shoot the middle guy and basically cover my exits. Now this is what this the weapon really specializes in my opinion, despite it also having a max range. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you play, is if you're taking damage, firing it there, it has very weak knockback, but it does have enough to ping enemies away from you. Now, it looks like you can only have one, or one in, near each other. And it actually can attack through walls, so I think that it does have to be pressed up against the wall, which is good for incoming attackers if you, are in fact running away. So, it does a base damage of 69 range damage, but when I toggle stealth mode, it goes up to 105, dealing a absolute insane amount of damage. So again, if you're ever in a tough jam and you're low on health, and maybe you're out in the open and it's like the pirate invasion, and there's a bunch of people with cutlasses chasing after you, if you shoot it straight down, they'll get knocked back. Despite that some enemies take less knockback damage than others, it will still be enough to actually do that. So that's going to be it for this episode. There aren't any really pros and cons. One pro that it does last a while and it does do a lot of damage, and it can attack through walls, and cons being that it does have a max range of where the projectile can actually shoot, and also that the projectile does fire pretty slowly, but on the bright side, it does activate once you do hit an enemy, and the initial impact does not actually do more damage, but based on how I've been testing this weapon with, it does usually critical hit the enemy in the first hit, which is always, see, yeah, there, usually does critical hit the first enemy, so that's always good. And this is just the definition of range, I guess. So I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Sorry if I don't sound well. I've been out all day, and my voice is just really not in the mood for me right now. So I'll talk to you guys next episode.